Hi, good morning. Was here. Okay, today we are going to continue from the setups that I share with you guys. Okay, okay, the one that I said on here. Okay, yeah. Okay, so break-based return entry, time frame, signs of reversal points. Okay, we are going to start off today with this one, and there will be uh, some points based on today's topic, right? Will be taken from this double because you guys have seen the way I take my trades and the setups that I take up a lot of double top, double bottom, looking at supply and demand, momentum, reversal point, inside buy, engulfings, and all this is all my trade setups. Okay. So today is about break-based return entry. I'm going to explain my point about break-based return entry, what it's all about. Okay. So as normal, I'm going to share with you my rationale. You see, right? Okay, when the market moves, right, it's never in a straight line. Okay, we all know that. Okay, we all know that it's never in a straight line. Usually, how the real market moves, right, is always here, and then, for instance, in this case, it will go. What's happening? Hold on. Okay, normally how the market moves is just instead of going straight line, it would just in this case. All right. Usually, it will in this case, right, this is called a rally, and then after that rally, price stall for a while and pause for a few moments, and that's called a base, and this is where people start contemplating to look for a sell. Okay, but they're not looking at the previous move, which is a rally. All right, and then normally in this case we have a rally based rally. Okay, um so normally what price will do, the break-based return entry, right? Break-based return entry. Price normally after breaking out of a base, right? It will come back one way or the other to retest that broken base. Okay, but this is called, I call it the event areas, where price consolidates and then went out of that base. Okay, that is usually what prices do. And besides, we can't buy on here. You can't buy on here after price make a new higher high or breaking the structure. We don't want to buy a structure high. Okay, and for instance, this is not a buy, this is not a buy. Okay, we want to look for price to came back. Okay, came back to a certain point in the market where the price break. It can be here, can be here, can be here, can be here, to look for the continuation. So the break-based return entry can be a confirmation, and to look for pivot points or reversal points of the market. Okay, as I say, this is let me see whether I still have this on. Oh yeah, so wrong one. Yeah, because I say market can only do the following things: trending, retracement after the broken structure, correction, and stalling. So we have to know what is this kind of setups, what are we looking for. All right, so for instance, right, if price usually when you see a break based return entry, right, it can work in a lot of ways. For instance, in this case, there's no breakout, right? The price will break out here, and then this is where the breakout happens, and then when it goes down here, people are looking for sell, and then in the end price will go here. Then people thought this is a reversal, but actually it went back to the base to grab some liquidity and went down and then become a double top, and this is called a break based return entry. Alright, and you can see this kind of thing happening in the market quite often, in trending markets especially, and not so on the consolidating. You have to see about perspective and look at context. Alright, just remember that the first thing is that you need to identify the supply and demand, identify what is happening in the market. Okay, what do you see? Do you see a rally based rally? Do you see a drop based drop? Okay, so the main thing is to identify this thing. Once you identify this thing, right, you are going to concentrate on the base. Okay, I'm going to give you one example based on the chart study for you guys to see more clearly in this case. Okay, like for instance, right, let me go to let's see again. I take UOGBP. Okay, I'm going to give you some clear points. Oh yeah, yen pairs. Okay, for the yen, this is UJ. Okay, this is UJ on the daily. Okay, in the UJ in the daily, notice at what is this market doing here. Previously market is on an uptrend, right? Okay, so in this case we can see that rally. In this case, this one is the rally, and then this one is the base, and then price value, right? And you notice that her price came back here, but it doesn't come exact, but price came back here, take these buy orders and then pushing up again, and then it's repeat the whole same thing all over again. Right, only until recently we can see an order flow towards down here. Okay, and we can see this drop. This is a drop, and then market pause for a while, for 1 day, and then goes down again. So in this case, this is the base. Okay, this is the base here. We can see that drop, base drop, price came back to that base. Okay, price have came back to that base, and people thought it's a buy. Okay, but it's actually a retest of this supply zone. Okay, a retest of the supply zone inside bar fakey, and then with a strong sell momentum towards the downside. So the bias to sell is there, so we're just waiting for the right entry trigger for us to enter. So in this case, my bias is that this is my order flow. Remember, there must be an order flow. And why is this order flow important? Because in this order flow, this is a significant drop from that base, and that drop break this structure demand. Okay, which now tells us that the bias have changed to supply now instead of demand pushing the price up. Okay, it's all about the supply right now. So the thing, we are looking for a sell, but we are waiting for the right kind of entry trigger. So those who entered the sell yesterday, even if you missed the sell yesterday, don't worry, we can still get a retracement entry should the price action represent itself. But the most important thing is for you to identify the base. Okay, identify the base and then proceed to your lower time frame to look for price action signals that supports your theory or supports your bias in your higher time frame of your daily. Okay, it can be the 4 hour, it can be the 1 hour, and the thing is up to you. Okay, but don't try not to look at too many time frames. Okay, like for instance, if the 4 hour we already see a move down, there is nothing that we can take. Okay, all we know that is that the sellers are pushing the price down, but we have not seen the reaction from the buyers in this case. Okay, so what I'm waiting for in this case, in this instance, I'll be waiting for price to push up, and am I going to buy from this? No, even though I know it's a weak sell momentum, I'm not going to buy from this, because based on my higher time frame side, it's more looking towards the downside, and we are being quite overextended in the daily right now. It's quite an overextended market, so looking for any buy would be a bit risky. Okay, not a bit, it's very risky, I would say. So I'll be waiting for price to retest here to become a double top, and then waiting for a good price action signal for this double top. If I see a weak sell, we are still weak buy momentum forming at these zone areas, at this base of supply zone, then I'll be initiating sell orders in order for anticipating for markets to move down. My stop loss will be above this zone here. So that is called the break base return entry. Okay, it's as simple as that, and you can find it, as I say, you can find this in most markets. Okay, let me give you another example of break base return entry for gold. Okay, for gold. Okay, like for instance, gold, right? If you look from here, maybe you can see in the 4 hour. Okay, if you can see from this gold, right? See at this, there is a push here. Okay, this push here, and this push broke this resistance here. So we know that this is a rally. Okay, this is a rally, and then in this case rally, and after a rally, price go high here, people sell, and then they get washed up. And from this candle, a lot of people are looking for sell, but they're not looking at the structure, they're not looking at supply and demand, they're not looking at the general direction of where this price is going. Okay, so it's not going to work out one way or another. Instead, what you should have done is that you identify that with this significant value breaking this previous structure point, is telling us that the bias, that the order flow is actually to go up, not to go down. And in this case, what we see a rally here. Okay, so we have seen this rally here, and in this rally, like, price drops down here, actually making a base and pushing up again. So in this case, this is a good base. And if you, more often than not, right, market will come back to that base. Okay, market come back to that base, market push again, market come back to that base, market push again, market come back to that base, and market moves again. Okay, and then for those of you who have moved this, who have missed this move towards the upside based on this inside bar breakout, okay, you can still prepare the base of the breakout point. Okay, so in this case, I will mark here as the breakout point, and then to see whether the price can come back to these levels or to this zone where the breakout occurs for a possible retest. Okay, for a possible retest, and then we will see whether after that possible retest we can take the long setup. Okay, in this long setup, so we knew that this is a rally, right? So we knew, let me just, okay, so we knew that this is a significant rally here. Gonna make it big. Oh yeah. Okay, we knew that there's a significant rally, and then what is whole freaking thing? This whole freaking is a freaking base. Okay, so this is a rally base, and now price have rallied. So in this case, we knew that the uptrend is quite confirmed. In the 4 hour, you can see the uptrend is quite confirmed because there is a rally base rally. Okay, so, and then all we need now is a retest of this broken structure to continue this rally base rally towards the upside. Okay, as you can see right now, the demand is more stronger than the supply. As I say previously, remember, if you are going to make your decisions into a sell, just keep on doing your sell just because of this drop and then this drop, right? You are going to miss this push up and not looking at perspective in terms of the price action and in terms of what do you see on the chart. The price can't just move in one direction. You have to anticipate reversals. And as my lesson yesterday, as the price gets lower and lower, that is where the buyers are, and that is where the buyers are more stronger. The more lower the prices is, the more stronger will be the buyers perceived to be. Okay, so in this case, at this moment, we identifying the order flow is good enough. Okay, identifying the order flow is good enough. So there's a lot of quite interesting setups. There will be a Aussie news in the next 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours. So Aussie, you might want to stay out for a while. But let's see if we can see from here right now, right? You will look at Euro Aussie. Right, so if you look at Euro Aussie, even from the weekly perspective, right? Even from the weekly perspective, right, we can see a rally, and now prices is still inside the base. Okay, where is the rally? This is the rally, and then at this rally, what is the significant part of this rally? It broke the structure resistance in the past in inside bar breakout in this case, and then price respecting that inside bar, and then price push up, and then price goes down again here and there because it can't move straight away. So now it's still making a base. Okay, it's still making a base, but the order flow is towards the upside still. Okay, for the meantime, based on the information that we have and the structures and the closing prices, is still leaning towards the top side. Okay, as price has already been oversold in this case, because if you are looking at this, you are looking for a sell, it's not going to work out. In order for your sell to work out, price has to make a new low, and in order for price to continue, it has to break this low to continue down, but that is not the case. If this happens, then a downtrend will continue, but the downtrend seems to be stalling for a very long number of weeks here. So, and we are seeing evidence that the sellers are slightly equally matched here, even though in terms of the candles, right, it's quite equally matched, but the buyers still have the final say in this case, because the one big move is still a rally. It's not a significant drop. Okay, a candle drop is not a significant drop. One candle drop is nothing. I mean, in the 4 hour, yes, this are here in the daily, but it's a downtrend. Of course, for 1 week, price goes down. Okay, but after that, there's no continuation as price goes up. And after that, with a weak buy momentum here, price goes down but still goes up. So in this case, it still means that the buyers are still holding their ground, and the buyers are still have a lot of say in this pair here. So we should look for a buy instead of a sell. So if we look from the daily right now, see from the daily, what we can see is weak buy momentum. So in this case, I'm not looking for any kind of entries at the moment. No sell, of course. Okay, based on this, I would expect market to go down first, and then maybe making a false break at this area will be very good, and then I'll be waiting for a buy. Okay, there's no evidence of strong sellers at the moment except for this pin. Okay, like example, for instance, this can still be a good. See, this is another break based return entry as well. Okay, in this case, right, there's a rally. This one a base, this one rally here. There's a base form here. I'm going to mark this base right now. So yesterday, right, price came back to that base. Okay, price came back to that base, and then with a reaction. But I say the reaction was a bit weak, so we have to wait and see how it goes. Let's see the behaviors for in the lower time frame. In the lower time frame, as I say, the sellers are having the influence to bring the prices lower. Okay, the buyers not having that momentum yet to, except for this pin. I don't see yet. But the last 4 hours, I mean, based on this 4 hour close, right, it's a weak sell momentum. That's why, I mean, the news is going to bring this thing one way or the other. Okay, so we can take a buy stop above this level. You can take a buy stop above this level, or you can wait until price break that level in the 4 hour. Okay, you can wait until price break in the 4 hour, and then we can take our limit buy orders around here after that break of this resistance to push towards the upside. Alright, so that is my take for you Aussie. So we have to wait what happened first. Okay, but the wait, as I say, based on the higher time frames, as you can see, a lot of time I just look at the daily and H4 for my day trading, and this is good enough. Aussie yen might just still push down. So example, for instance, right here we can see, look at this one. Okay, I'm going to go to GJ. GJ is good. Okay, GJ. Okay, look at how market respect the base, right? This is the uptrend here, and then after this uptrend, price make a drop, and then make a base and drop. Okay, this is the drop here. Okay, and then this is a drop here, and then in this drop, price, after this drop, price make a base up, never break out, down, never break down. This is the base, right? And after this base is formed, and then price retest here, double top from here, and then price push down. So this is a base, drop, base, drop. Okay, so drop, base, drop, a supply zone right there. So you see, after price make a drop, base, drop, don't look for your sell here, even though you already see a drop, base, drop. Okay, expect market to go up to retest that supply zone in order for this to continue towards the downside. So you see, drop, base, drop, break base, return entry right there. Price came down again, and then price make a drop, base, drop again, and we can see quite a good retest of this broken. Now price have came back to that base again, and this time with the candle showing us, and the selling pressure is still building up in this case for pound yen. So overall, it could still, I mean, the general bias for pound yen for me is to look for sell still. Okay, but price already came back, double top, rejection of the supply zone, moving into this selling pressure, and you look at the behaviors of the sellers, right? It's still moving. It's still quite obvious that they are in control of this market. Weak buy momentum, strong push, rejection of supply zone, and price went down. So let's see in the 4 hour. Okay, in the 4 hour we can see that retest here. Okay, so we have to wait and see what happens. So here be very tempting. I mean, the best way, right, for instance, okay, so even if you look for the 1 hour, we can see this one is a significant value based drop in the 1 hour. So that would be a very good place for us to look for sales, because see, as you look at the 1 hour, right, look at the behaviors of the sellers as the momentum start to shrink. So that's what's that telling you, is that it's not a perfect time for you to look for the sell entry. But can we take a buy? Remember, you have a weak buy momentum as well, so just wait. Okay, the best scenarios I will see around here is that price to make a identify the base first where the price break out. Okay, in this case here, price went up and then price goes down, but we turn back, price maker goes up, and then here this is where the break. So this whole thing is actually a base here, and then price have broken that base and then move down with quite tenacity. So in this case, we should expect price to came back to that base in this 1 hour, and then we are looking for a suitable price action signal for price to go down. Alright, so that is break base return entry, but you have to really do practice. You have to do a lot of practice in terms of how are you going to identify this, and then to look for suitable entries into your time frame. Like for instance, Euro USD, right? Euro USD, I'm looking for a buy. Okay, like for instance, you see there's a drop, base drop here, and then price make a base, price make a rally. Alright, so there's a significant demand zone right now. Alright, if you look from this structure, right, if you look for this structure overall, we are now at the bottom part of a down structure, but in which we can see a W form, or in which the bottom, okay, you can see like a W here, right? We can see like the sellers is quite shrinking out in this case, and the buyers is starting to take over. Okay, and based on these behaviors from the 4 hour, right, we can see the strong push by these sellers, by the buyers. So in this case, it's a base here, price is too high. So in this case, where would I probably, I'm looking for a buy, but not at this moment, not and nowhere from here, right? It's too high. So we want to wait for a suitable retest of a broken structure, and I think for Euro USD, this looks to be a good area here, because price came down here, drop, base drop. Okay, this could be a flip zone, which means is that a broken supply turning into new demand. So this will be a good flip zone for me going to today. Okay, this will be a good flip zone, so I'll be looking for this. And even besides, if you look at the 4 hour, there's a weak buy momentum, no point for you to take for a buy. But are you looking to sell? No. Am I looking to sell? No, unless price break this. Only after price break this, then I look for a retest, then I look for my sell setups. Should that happens, okay, we can never rule out, but given the higher time frame and where we are, and as I explained just now regarding the W, right, okay, price is in the bottom of this on this market structure. So at this bottom of this market structure is where buyers are strong. The upper portion of the W structure, the sellers are strong. Okay, so you have to know where is the market structure showing you, and take your necessary orders accordingly. Okay, so I'll be waiting for price to come back into this base, and then wait for a good price action signal to go long. All right, you can see a lot of examples. Okay, just take this as something and make it into a plan or process and practice. Okay, this break base return entry is quite a good for me. I love to take this style of setups, because it's because for instance, right, if you look at the market, right, it never, for not besides it's not making a straight line, right, the thing is, right, if you identify this and then if you miss the setup, right, as I say, market will always come back. Okay, market will always come back. The problem is for you to identify areas of an entry. That is the biggest hurdle for you, me, everybody else. But the setup is there, the process is there. I've gone through thousands of hours in the screen on the charts every week since day one of my 6-year career, right? I see this thing happening over and over and over again. Alright, so that is where I devise it into a process and apply it in the markets after a lot of practice. So do take note or make a lot of practice on this, right? The main important thing in this case, you need to identify the base. You need to identify the base. You need to know what is the order flow. You need to know what kind of triggers you are waiting for. You need to look at the proper time frame. You need to look at the behaviors of the candle. You have to look at momentum. Okay, this is I have a lot of decisions when I make an entry. Okay, behavior, base, trigger, time frame, momentum. Okay, and then price action, of course. Are we looking at a false break? Are we looking at a fake key? And then who is in control, buyers or sellers? These are the stuff that I do to make my decisions, rather than making patterns here and there, up down, trend and all that. No. Okay, so I think I'll just stop you guys from here from base return entry. So the next lesson will be on I think by double top and double bottom, and then I will explain it accordingly when the time comes, and hope you guys learn something today. Alright, cheers.